the audience. I am Salina Sali, the founder and learning designer of Digital Dolphin Academy, the advocator of learning culture, contributing towards personal and organizational growth. I would like to welcome all of you today in our program called In Conversation with the Leading Ladies. This is a program that would add value to all the young ladies out there who are searching for your own path or who are struggling to stay on your path of personal mastery. Did you know that in Malaysia, 62% of enrollment in our universities and colleges are female? Yet, less than 30% of us reach the leadership position. Why this disparity? This is a question that's been going through my mind when we talk about gender equality in this country. But today, I will be speaking to two distinguished professors who will share with us their stories, what they have done, why they're doing, and what it takes for them to thrive in the world of science and technologies. Let me welcome our guests for this episode. The first is Professor IR Dr. Adwati Sali. She's the expert in mobile and satellite communication from University Putra, Malaysia. Professor Adwati have a PhD in mobile satellite communication, Master in Communication and Network Engineering, Bachelor in Electrical and Electronic Engineering. Second, we have Professor Madya, Dr. Bahbibi Rahmatullah. She's the expert in computer science, data analytics, and intelligence system from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. Professor Bahbibi had a PhD in engineering science from Oxford University, UK, Master in Science and Computer Engineering, Bachelor of Electronic Engineering, and Diploma in Telecommunication Engineering. So thank you to both of you for being here
so much,
today. And I really hope, I'm sure that your stories will inspire other young ladies out there in our country to pursue the path in engineering and technology as you guys both did. Okay. Kita dah kenal dah lama dah ya, almost 30 years since our days in college. Almost 30 kan?
Since 1995.
1995.
Yeah.
We were practically teenagers then. And you guys still look the same, but it's really impressive when I was reading your profile for the past 2 weeks, trying to understand what you do and the field that you're working on right now. Engineering and IT or data analytics, we know predominantly male profession. I got goosebumps ya, dia meremang bulu tu bila tengok hang punya research, your publication. Tapi tak larat nak baca semua because I some of them are very technical for me to digest. All I can say is respect, sisters.
Thank you.
So here today I nak dengar you punya stories ya, your stories. Both of you have authored a wide range of publication, invited to review in journals, high impact journals and conferences. You have done many research in your field, and this skill just don't happen overnight, isn't it? It requires commitment, perseverance, and dedication. Above all, it requires passion. You have to love what you do to be in this line and not stuck, and stay with it, persevere with it all this while. Prof Adwati, you're famous. Famous, masa I ingat masa MH70 when you were invited to
Science Cafe,
many TV programs, talk shows to give your expert opinion on the matter. It's really impressive. And Prof Bahbibi, you got your PhD from Oxford. Amazing stuff, ladies. So I want to start this show today. So the first question, Prof, and any one of you can answer this first. If you were to explain to a 7-year-old what you do, so tell us the answer.
Maybe can I start first?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I have children at the age of 10, 12, 16, and 18. So I can pretty much relate
Awesome.
the question. I got asked every day almost. So if I were to tell to a 7-year-old what I do, I would tell them that have or hold or use a mobile phone, even babies now or toddler is using mobile phone. Actually, what I do is about telecommunication, how we make this safe. Not safe in terms of the content, because I'm not a content developer, but safe in terms of its radio frequency. Probably they will not know much about radio frequency. So safe in terms of when you use it, it can deliver all the traffic, all the YouTube or Zoom or anything that you have downloaded. And it can also be safe that it doesn't cause too much radiation on your body. So that will be what I would tell to a 7-year-old. So kalau kata nak engkau hang ada phone kan, so phone ni nak bagi dia berjalan, nak bagi dia boleh on, nak bagi dia selamat, itu yang makcik belajar, itu yang makcik.
Oh, right. Thank you for that. It's really good explanation, very simple, how to make your mobile phone safe to deliver data to you and doesn't affect your health. Awesome, Prof. Adawati. So, Prof. Bibi, so tell all these children.
Right. So, what did I do, or what am I doing? My research field. If a 7 years old asked, I would say I'm training computers. To make it more clever in helping human. So sort of like artificial intelligence or machine learning. Machine has to learn. It doesn't just get clever like that. It all from human. But we keep on giving data into it so that it becomes clever and clever. That it's so clever, it managed to defeat if you all remember the Russian chess master a long time ago, Kasparov and Karpov. Yeah, so we teach machine so that it becomes clever in helping us. What I did before was to help human or to help doctors, engineers in ultrasound, in baby, fetus ultrasound, because I think that's quite close to my heart. I did it during my master. I was pregnant with my third child at the time. I had her picture, fetus picture in the ultrasound form in my thesis. And when I was doing my PhD, I put her, because it was heavily image processing, I help computer to detect images. So I put in her photos. I think she was around 4 or 5 years old in my thesis also, to acknowledge my children. But now, since I'm, after I got back to Malaysia and looking at the situation, this university I'm in, which is an education university, and there's not much opportunity to go into these medical parts. We don't have medical schools. It's quite hard to do that. But, I'm okay. Naturally it comes to me that I have to move on with the development of children, means after they're born, so it was early childhood, it was education. So I'm training this computer to come out with better prediction, better program, help us in, education problems, solving, all these education problems. So, yeah, basically that's what I do, help human through train the machine.
Excellent. So one is making the mobile devices safer for us. The other one is training computer to eventually help us become live better. I summarize it as that. Yeah. So thank you so much for that explanation. Crystal clear. I think any 7 years old will be interested to hear more about it later on. Yeah. So my second question is, I want to go back to where you first started. So how do you first become interested? So you know my story. I told you my story already. So it's an accidental decision of what I do. But how do you choose to study in engineering and engineering? Both of you.
I was living in Penang in my childhood until I was 22 years old, and my father, my late father, Ara, was a fireman. Fireman at the airport, Bayan Lepas Airport lah, Bayan Lepas Airport. And then the firefighters, they have to make sure that the landings and the takeoffs of all the flights has to be safe. Yeah, of course, they're getting ready every time there is a takeoff or landing, they have to be ready. And then they have to communicate safely and frequently with the ATC, air traffic controller. So I was thinking that, how can they communicate? This was way in the 80s, early 80s, probably 1984, when we were 7 years old. How do they communicate daripada balai bomba? They have the balai bomba on the ground, communicate with the ATC like a few kilometers away, and on top, ATC is quite high, around 40 meter or 40 feet, I think 40 feet height, and they communicate wirelessly. And it gives me a lot of interest in it, especially in terms of wireless communications as well as aviations. And my dad used to bring me to the airpot. Adalah dalam setahun tu 2-3 times bring your child to the office something tu. So dapat dah tengok take off and then landing and then dia guna ATC tu. So it was a very interesting experience for me lah personally. And then at that time, we were living in Bayan Baru. We were surrounded by a lot of factories, electronic factories. Electronics factories really play a role because I noticed that all my neighbors, when they graduated, when they finished school, they work at the factory. Operator pengeluaran, some of them are technicians, some of them are engineers. So I said that must be something about this electronics industry that it gives a lot of opportunities. So it really interests me to get to know electronics. So as you know, as at the NBB, I took electronics engineering in my diploma.
Yeah.
And I remember that when I first registered, maybe a few weeks when registration, the guy, if you remember our colleagues, the guys, one of them was saying that, electronic engineering, I don't think you can succeed. They call me Witut lah. There were only 5 female students in the class, and then like 26.
And you were the smallest.
Yeah, exactly.
In size.
Yeah, in size. But this person is not from my class. Eventually he was from the boys. Okay lah. I took it as a challenge, in fact. So my goodness, how can this person, how can he look at me like this? So I took it as a challenge that no matter if you're a girl, a petite girl, or petite in size, small in size, and then not many female in the class, I want to show, not to him, but to myself, that I can do this. But it takes years and years, as you mentioned. So that's my story, Sally.
Awesome! I never know the story. It's amazing. Boys were lame when we're growing up, isn't it? Yeah. Awesome. So you are small in size, but you are big in spirit. You're fearless, Prof. I can contest to that.
As for me, I came from village juga. In Berwas, Perak, not much going on there. It's orang kata pekan cowboy. It's a dead town, sort of. Maybe now it's coming up. I think I was, among those, alhamdulillah, given the ability to always excel in my village school. Sorry, I think the line was interrupting there. I always score well for the budak kampung lah, sekolah rendah. It's nothing to compare with those in urban
Big city,
areas, big city. Yeah. And then I got offered to MRSM typing. Actually, I don't grow up knowing, I want to be this or I want to be that. I just go with the flow, whatever option that might come. I know I love math. I love science. We do a lot of exploration being budak kampung, because it's unlike now. Maybe now it's less safe to do that. Mothers have to always watch out for our children.
Yes.
There, you always jump into the river, go here and there. I was quite tomboyish also because I have 4 brothers. I'm the only girl in the family. Yeah, so I always go with them everywhere, do whatever they want to do, even play sepak takraw. That was quite funny, you don't hear girls. So then I got into, I got into MSM. That was a very, very good opportunity. I remember at that time, I think those who got into, these boarding schools, they are sort of already, you are going to be an engineer, doctor, accountant, that kind of, at that time, 30 years ago, right? So I thought I want to be a doctor because that's a very noble profession. I didn't know about all the, perks and benefits, or you get so much, a salary and so on. I just think, it's very good. You get to treat people, something that people look up to. And I said, I want to do medical school. But what happened was when I was given a few options, like you did, Sally, I also got few options. One of it is medic. I think two of it was medic. But then this option to get into ITTM came, along the way, but it asked me to choose to enroll earlier. Plus they sponsor like everything, right? At that time.
Yeah.
I was a bit late, coming into, I think I call myself third intake. Remember ITTM had the first intake and then they had third intake, and I came in at the third intake because I was like delaying it, trying to decide which one I want to go and so on. So I came in late. I think my telecommunication engineering, we had a lot of girls, unlike the electronics courses. I didn't know I am good in this electrical stuff, electrical computer. I thought I was really bad because I remember, in MRSM, I don't like physics subjects. I still remember, that teacher, showing me that ball, and then you touch it and then your hair all goes up. His hair goes up. Yeah.
That experiment.
Yeah. So I remember vomiting after one of the class. It was so stressful for me. The physics, I love biology and chemistry. But I scored really well in physics. And when I was in that diploma course, I remember one of the subject tests, it was a midterm examination. It was really, really difficult. Everyone, I can see the stress in that room. Everyone was, you did not predict that question. It was so difficult. But I just scribble, try to think whatever way I can do, whatever PT marks the lecturers can give and so on. And, I remember some of the students also try to go out and find a textbook to find the answer, but there's no answer in the textbook. You really need to, process and, understand few other things that's not in the textbook to answer it. And after that, we went to our, supper. And this guy, he asked me, it's always a guy, right? So he said, how was it, baby? How was it? And I was like, yeah, it's very bad. And then he said, do you think you will fail? I think, yeah, maybe. He said, I will fail also. I think, it's so difficult. And right. And then when the result comes out, many of us fail. But I got like 70 plus. And I was like, wow, I'm really good at this, So, and that guy came to me like, you lie.
Jealous lah tu.
You said you're going to fail. He was quite angry with me. I will tell that name later. you all know who he is. So I thought, wow, I'm really good at this. I thought, I don't like it. I don't like circuit. I don't like all this, computer stuff. But, that really boosts my confidence. I know that I have the analytical skills, to do all that kind of questions. So, I think all those sort of mindset I had that, I'm good at biology, I need to be doing medical, that was, really vaporized at that moment. And I'm like really set on to do my, electrical and eventually to computer and biomedical stuff. Yeah.
Thank you for that story, amazing story. I never knew about this when we were college. Okay, so I am going to move on to the next question. This is a bit more to the current situation. Yeah? So I came across this statistic about globally, there's only 33% female researcher in the area of science and technology. But in Malaysia, we somehow are better off than the global average. There's about almost 50% researchers in this field are female. So what I am really interested to know is there gender differences in research environment in your organization?
There is gender difference. I think anywhere, not just at universities, but also I think in corporate. sections even. But I think that is the challenge that we have to work with, not like to avoid, but work with, because I noticed this, that sometimes, at least at my institution where I'm working in, sometimes female, we feel like you can only do one thing, you couldn't do the others. But actually, in reality, you can do both. Just believe in yourself, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge your weakness or limitation. Like, for example, in my case, I know that I can only work from 8 to 5. I couldn't work after 5. I just couldn't. My head shuts down after 5. And ask me meeting at 10 p.m. or 11. I'm so sorry. I just sleep after Isha. So this is my limitation. So I acknowledge that. So within that time duration at the office, 8 to 5, I make sure that I do everything as much as I could. But when you talk about gender difference, yes, but I think the problem is there is not many women at that level that can inspire or mentor other people, other female especially. So because sometimes people want to look up to you, but we are being denied. I personally experienced this. You are being denied just simply because you're a woman. You can either be seen as a threat or you can be seen as an intimidation. Maybe because, men have egos. I'm going to be frank with this. They feel like when a female tells them to do something, it's like, you are encroaching my space. You are telling me what to do. Who are you? Sometimes I feel that. I get that a lot, to be honest. But I think that I have to be professional. If they don't want to get my opinion or they don't want to appreciate my talents, that's fine. I can go somewhere else. I can channel it somewhere else. I can benefit other people. So I just move on. But the difference is there, to be honest. And I know that it's everywhere, not just at my institution, not just in Malaysia, but it's global. Yeah, I don't know whether BB will agree with me.
Yeah, I think no. Everyone is entitled to your opinion. I'm worried that I'm going to sound too academic here, but I'm coming in from a different perspective. If you see like some research done in egalitarian society, like for example in Norway, Sweden, anyone choosing family, rather than career, if given the same opportunity. So I don't know. I can see there might be, because we don't have much option to go up or to climb up the ladder. But at the same time, I see that, a woman might prefer to choose to do something, that is more suitable for them because they want to enjoy both the family and also the career. So that's why we don't see that many. So I don't mind actually the gender differences. Because I think it's quite normal, people are given option. Unless people are not given options, you are discriminating them, there's not many chances. I think there are many efforts done. I remember I was involved in this kind of initiatives, to increase the number of women and female, in science technology. Well, I was in Oxford. It's called Athena's One. This is to give it's like an accreditation body. Like if your university wants to get research grant, you must be accredited by this, by this Athena's One, at least, silver, gold. So that's a very good initiative, I think, for ladies or females that already up there holding position. You make it easier for the next people to come in. Because I can see also sometimes, maybe not for all, but sometimes this is not in science and technology, this is throughout the field, that once we are, we struggle to get up, but once we are up, we look down and we say others have to go through the same struggle. That is not fair, So I like that initiative that was done in UK, because those lady professors, they are helping, the next, generations, whoever who wants to come out. Given option, you want to go up, you want to climb up the ladder, but you have this carrying responsibility, you have to do it part-time as well, but you have that talent that you want to channel, according to your time, maybe they want to have less time being in the lab, but they're also producing, quality research. So they are making it easier. So actually what I want to say is those who are already in position, who went through those hardship to get there, don't expect others to come through or to struggle, but let's make it easy for them so that there'll be less gender disparity. But I don't mind this, gender disparity if the ladies really chose it. Chose to stop. because of whatever, priority they have. So,
But
itu je
maybe
lah kot
if
my
I may
wish.
ask, that the initiative that you mentioned just now, conducted in Oxford, can it be done in Malaysia, you think?
It was not actually in Oxford, it was overall UK now. So Oxford
Yalah.
was a bit late because Oxford was very male dominated, kan?
Yeah,
So they were like
yes.
quite in the back.
But
Yeah.
can it be
And
done
I was
here?
chosen also. Yeah, I think we should. We should do it. Especially lady professors up there, maybe holding some positions. We should be able to do that. I agree with Adwati when you said that some male do not appreciate. They feel like it's a challenge towards their authority or whatever, decision making they're doing, because this lady, she really talks really well. She have a lot of idea. I remember my professor had that challenges. She was really good, but then got overturned because of these political connections and so on, right? But yeah, I think we could do it maybe through the Society for Women Engineering. I'm not enrolled that I was before, but then I see nothing much being done. So I'm like more low profile, just working at the back rather than being visible out there.
Professor Mahabibi is playing
No, I am. I'm actually very shy in camera, tau Sally. I'm a very... No, I am. I am extrovert. Memang when
very
I
fierce
see,
apa masa when we were in school. Aku takut nak cakap dengan Hang.
but not in social media. You don't see me.
Yeah.
Tersangkut lah tadi tak dengar. Yeah.
So it's an interesting perspective that both of you have shared. Yeah. So for me, my experience is more in the corporate role. I was lucky in the sense that I was always surrounded by superior or bosses, male bosses that's very supportive. There's not much gender or biasness that's happening, but the unconscious biasness is something that is a bit more dangerous because you don't see. You can reach to certain level, but for you to go up, so that is to go up into the C-suite or whatever. That is where the challenges that we will face in general. But what is interesting that what Professor Babibi you mentioned just now. So once for the ladies out there, once you reach certain position at that when you are got high up there, don't expect people to struggle as you did. Make it easier for other women to get there. So that is I think something that every one of us in whatever role that we are should really start thinking about it, and should really start doing something about it. Whether you just help a mentor or give advice to other female colleagues or the juniors one, to inspire them. And I agree with what you said earlier. We don't have many strong female figures that we can look at nowadays. So it gotta be more visible.
So actually, Sally, that Athena's one was about promoting to make that ladies more visible, in the website, in the website or in the promotion. So that was one of the initiative. But I remember ladies can be, we all are different in terms of personality with men. We have that certain distinct, characteristic and so on. But from that focus group, what I remember is ladies need more encouragement. You need to tap her at the back and say, wow, you can do it, or you should apply for it. They need more. The guys, they are overconfident. This is from the focus group. I'm not like trying to just, pick it up. But it's from that focus group, what we found was ladies, even though they've already, they already have a good thesis, for example, but they need that affirmation from other colleagues or someone higher saying, your thesis is good enough, go and submit. That's why we see ladies, they submit later, maybe 1 or 2 years later, 1 year, I think, later than the male students, in submitting their work, because they think it's still not good enough, because ladies are quite perfectionist, so, and also even about applying to the next position, they say, oh, we are not entitled, but the men always like, I need to go up there, I'm entitled, it's my time, I already done everything, but the girls, the ladies will be like, no, I need a few more years and so on. So we need to tap them the back and give them that support, saying, so I do that with my PhD students, saying that, their report is good enough, they should submit now, but, sometimes they do listen, sometimes they don't.
That's a very interesting finding from the research. I'm gonna very interesting. I didn't know that. I thought it's just we choose not to do it. we are just in general not that confident of what we have done, even though it's amazing work compared to others, female or male colleagues that does the same or similar work. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. What is the biggest satisfaction that you got from your field of work or research area?
In my case, I would be happy if my work is being accepted and the stakeholders, be it the users or the students even, they are satisfied with me. For example, we are in our week 14, which is the final week of the semester. And then I can see that the students can really relate to me, like they come to me if they have any problem, not just academic problem, but also personal problem. And they come to me later when they graduate. Because I am a professional engineer, I can sign their certificates when they apply for graduate member with BM, Board of Engineers Malaysia. So they do come after they graduate. They come not only to get my signature, but also come and then they update me about their memories in when they were students. They update me what they're doing now, working. So I think that is a satisfaction to me. But if I can also share, Sandy, if you may allow me, I got this from a lot from mentoring, like we discussed just now. People management. You know how we, as an engineer, and also a technical person, we are always involved and engrossed with our expertise, and in research, that is the main thing that you're selling. You're selling your expertise for promotion. They have to see that where you're standing in research, right? But I think this is even equally important, if not more, people management. So from these two beautiful ladies, I learned a lot from them. It's Prof. Aliani and Prof. No Kamaria. One of them was my dean, Prof. No. The other one is my colleague. If you remember Prof. Aliani, I was always with her during the NH370 sittings at Astro Awani. So I learned from them how to manage people, because sometimes I think I was like that, and probably I am. I just know how to work, but I don't know how to convey as much as to make people listen to you, because probably people can look at you like listening, but in reality their minds are somewhere else. And now with the Zoom, they can just shut down or just turn off their voice, their audio, microphone and view, and then you wouldn't know, right? So I think this is one of the things that I feel satisfied myself. Of course, I would like to see the users, the students are satisfied with me, but I want to be satisfied myself, and also among my colleagues, my female colleagues especially. And I learned these skills, so-called skills, people management, from these two, because when sometimes when I was mentioning that some people may get intimidated when you are too opinionated. Some people like probably how you can convey your message or convey your opinions without affecting their feelings, without hurting their feelings, for example. So that is something that I'm still trying to master, and hopefully I will get there. But these two are actually my mentors.
One of the biggest challenge in organization is about managing people, and not many people know how to manage people. So this is one of the things that I teach in my classes about managing people, about leadership. And the fundamental is we have to treat people how they like to be treated. So that is the fundamental, not how we like to be treated, but how they like to be treated. Once we understand how to do that, then the rest will be slightly easier to manage. So let's go to Prof. Bahabibi.
That is something that we need to learn from you, Sally.
Sharing.
And the knowledge is so vast. I mean, that sound to me, trying to put it in a very academic term, that's like personalized treatment, but not treat. I mean, because in medical we have personalized treatment. You treat person, according to their illness or their own body, because not all treatment will suit everyone, right? So even like with human pun kan. But satisfaction, I mean, that question just get me thinking. So it's sort of like, okay, how would I say I'm satisfied? Searching my soul for the answer. There's no one biggest quote. If we go grammatically, biggest must be like the biggest. But satisfied. I think I derive satisfaction from small things that happens in life. In my research, let's say, my research managed to pay some students' salary. Through the research grant, they get to have that. What do you call their costs, you run,
Mhm.
and
Fees.
the fees, and
Uh-huh.
also the cost of living. They get some pocket money, for their entire master or PhD. So I'm satisfied that way also. Maybe sometimes in small grants also they get. I managed to get that grants to help them in their study. I also. Most of it, because as a educator, teacher, lecturer, most of it is by looking at your students lah. I'm not really proud if they get to be the best or famous in their field. What I want is for them to appreciate you, sort of like the barakah in the knowledge that you have given. They remember you, even though they don't work as the CEO of the company. Maybe they just like simple job, but they come to you and say thank you, for teaching me how to, whatever small thing that we have touched their heart. Maybe not really in that circuit or in that computer knowledge. Maybe they really get very bad marks there, but they come back and say thank you because you reminded me of my responsibility, or small things that you just like touch. I derive my satisfaction there. Also from my children, they look up, they always like, oh, mommy is a professor, and we're so proud.
Nice.
Sort of become an example lah for them. They know my weaknesses as well. Can mommy at home? You cannot hide that from them. And also, I think in changing the landscape, sort of like whatever impact, because people say, oh, PhD is not rocket science, right? You're not just like suddenly Elon Musk, you send the rocket to the moon, to Mars. But, you do some trickle or a drop, kan? Setitis air dekat lautan yang luas, even that small, it will create that ripples. So I like it when, we bring in some approach, and then it managed to give some other people's idea how to improve their teaching and learning in schools. That's what we did before when I was in the Center for Child Development Research Center. And also when I was doing my medical, I think my work was later on developed further by another student, a few more students, and then they patent it and they use it to help pregnant women, having a better ultrasound. So even though my name is not there, because, they are the one who advanced the research, but I feel I contributed, to help the maternity, the pregnancy and so on. So yeah, I derive my satisfactions there mostly.
This is the different, because I speak to a lot of people about success and stuff like that. I would have expect that you guys would share an award that you won, as for just like if I ask a guy, they would have mentioned that. But a similar theme that I can conclude from what you said is about impacting people's life at the end. How you change people, how you impact the way their life, or like Baby talk about your research allow you to contribute to salary or allowances to the student. That is where more ladies need to step up and become a leader, because the impact that we give, it multiplies. Imagine if just the three of us can impact another 10. So if this 10 will impact another 10, the magnitude is huge. It's huge. I'll go on to the next question. I'm not able to go all, because the conversation is so interesting. I find it so interesting. But this one is the question that my daughter asked me to ask you guys, because I talked to her about, I'll be speaking to you, and she was quite excited to watch the recording later. So she wants to know the most memorable experience that you have in your line of work.
Most memorable, when you mentioned about what just now, I was about to share a slide. Yeah, but it's okay actually, because we think that awards is more like self-promotion, but actually I reach out to more people through this award. than I have ever been through my publications. Because, publications in academic world is the thing that you have to do. Like your
Yeah.
promotion depends on that, your yearly appraisal depends on that. But when you look at it, yeah, of course it's needed among your academic and research community. But who would read outside that? Is many people, are you going to read my paper? Actually, I don't think so, right? It's too
Tak
technical.
faham.
Yeah.
Tak faham.
But when I got these awards, I'm not bragging, lah. I'm so sorry. I'm just putting up some of the awards that I managed to get. But when I got this award, and then people start contacting me, people from all backgrounds, not only in engineering background, but people from the ministry, people on the street. They said, "Oh, you look familiar," and this is one of the memorable thing today, because thank you, Sally, for contacting me. Because all this while it has been awards within my area, within the academic world, within the research scientists. All this is what I do every day anyway. But to get called, yeah, for something like this, why you like a STEM advocate? This is something that is really a memorable thing, because if you remember a few years back, I think it was in 2018, I went to the Science Cafe in KL.
Yeah, in
And
Fabrica.
Sally was there, Sally, and
with
her-
my daughter.
Yeah, her daughter was there, Bibi. So I was
Ah.
really, really happy to see you, to be honest, Ellie, because I took it as a challenge. They called me, Science Cafe called me. They said that, Doctor, could you please tell us about MH370, whatever you have done in your analysis, to a people who's having dinner in a cafe. They call it Science Cafe. So I said, wow, this is very interesting. This is like a form of da'wah even. Like if we can do that for da'wah purpose, or if I can do that for my academic purpose to the normal people. So to be invited to something like that, to that Science Cafe, and here today, I think this is the most memorable, apart from all the other awards that I have nominated and won from. Okay, thank you, Sally.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. But I remember that night, because my daughter was very excited.
I don't recall any awards then.
My
Yeah,
daughter was
sorry.
very excited to hear from you in person about that. So that's why we went there to hear you speak. Okay, so let us go. It's almost 1 hour already. It's time flies so fast. Let me just move on to the next one. Next question. Outside your family, who is the most influential woman of your life, of your work, and how does this person or figure impact your life?
I'll start lah kot itu
Maybe
because
start, yeah.
she already I think I was lucky. My PhD supervisor was a lady, female. I think the only female at that time, or the first female professor in Department of Engineering Science, Oxford University. I really look up at her. Got to learn a lot of things. But I remember that she, I think the difference between Malaysian and UK is we build family first, or sometimes concurrently with our research and career, because I had 3 child and then I flew there to do my PhD. And then she was like, what? You have 3 child? And even her oldest is still younger than my oldest at that time. So she was like, wow. And she's 40, I think almost 50 something at that time. I was around 30 something. So, they build career first and then they have children. I think the line was, so they build career first and then they start to have children. I think she has 2. So that was our difference. But I think she really sort of like impressed, that we can do both things, juggle both things. But I think it was because of the support of our spouse juga lah kan. If not, we couldn't have, juggle between family, and they were willing to help us along the way. Another woman was when I came back, I still remember I asked Alison, and I said, how am I going to do my research after, my PhD? Because the university I'm coming back, we don't have medical schools, because I had 2 supervisor, medical and also engineering. She was the engineering side, the medical was a male. And then she said, like, you have to find a mentor, and then you just follow the mentor. So I said, okay, I did istikhara, I did my solat hajah. We as a Muslim, we try to, because I think that's also how I got into applying for Oxford, because from my master, I had, even the degree, I had a terrible experience, no one believed that I got such a low result. Because the ITTM, I score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the best student.
One of, not the best. But then, when I come back, it was really, I was really having a very low motivation and got back because I did not do that well. I was having some illness when I was in US for my degree. And then I just like, okay, forget about forget about research and everything. I just want to have family. So I start building families, got married, have children. And then I said like, oh, okay, I think I want to learn again. So that's why I went back to my master and PhD. Anyway, so I did that twice also, master pun, but with my istikhara and with my Salatul Hajat, I got the courage to apply to Oxford, Cambridge and Imperial at that time, so I got Oxford also by, some accident actually. So when I come back, I did that istikhara and also my Salah Hajjah, and I got this Professor Sophia. She was in science and education. So she really mentored me for that 6 years, even though our field was quite different, but we got into working on the same project. So I learned a lot that even now, it was quite funny, because when I talked to one of her colleagues, she already retired. And the colleague from her faculty, she's in a faculty of science and math, I'm in the faculty of computer. When they talked to me, or she talked to me, she said like, you sound like Prof. Sophia. And I was like, really? You're so confident and, like really outgoing, talking like a professor. I'm not still yet a professor. But she's like, you sound like Prof. Sophia. And I take that as a compliment, because like that 6 years I spent with her, I really learned a lot. We do disagree on certain things professionally. But I'm glad that these two ladies, Alison and Sophia, actually, made a lot of difference, in helping me. Yeah. In shaping who I am right now.
Awesome. So it's really important for us to have a mentor. Even if we don't have a formal mentor, you just need to identify who you admire and just try to be that person or follow their path to success. Thank you, Prof. Babibia, for sharing that. So, Prof. Adwati, your
I can
answer.
answer the next question if you want.
Nak dengar juga, who is your
No, it's the
email?
same as Prof. No and Prof. Aliadi just now.
I see.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The one
okay.
that I shared.
All right. All right. So now I think I have time for one last question. So I'm going to go to this last question. What are the messages that you want to pass on to the young woman out there who's thinking about pursuing a career in science, engineering, and technology industry or field?
Okay. So if I were to tell to Form 4 and Form 5 students, because Form 3 is the time where you have to decide, right? In Form 4 and Form 5, which stream do you want to take? Is it science stream? Is it social science, and etc.? I know that people would say that, ambil lah yang senang je. Get the one that you can score so that you can get scholarships, you can get easily into universities and you can find a job, etc. But to be honest, let's find the one that you are passionate about. Yeah, you're passionate about, because I don't want to compare between social science and science, because equally both are important. You wouldn't have people in the finance or people in the management if we don't have social science people. So we still need both. But if you want to go for science, you have to have passion. And if you have this, if you can answer to all of this, I ask this every day. When I think I am a scientist and a researcher in engineering, if I want to challenge myself and I want to broaden my horizon, I want to create opportunities for others, not just for myself only. If I want to meet new people, learn new cultures, and especially if you want to make an impact, again, it is not just to us, not just about to people around us, but to the community at large, then this is where you should really go for STEM. And as what Sally has mentioned just now, the nation needs STEM for more than 60% at least. But currently we are only at 48%. We still have a long way to go. At one point, if you remember when we were in high school and at universities, we thought that science, STEM is the way to go. It was it was accelerating. But at
And that
one
was
point,
30 years ago, right?
exactly. But after that, it keeps on decreasing because I'm also part of a study to study this scenario. Why is it that we are declining in terms of STEM? And we know STEM is the oil and engine for development, yeah, especially to be a developed country. So I'm calling all the ladies, all the female and girls out there to go search within yourself. What is it that you want to do? And science, STEM, technology, technical areas can bring you there. So that's my hope and advice for the females, Sandy. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Adwati. So let us hear it from Prof. Bavibi. Your message.
My message, I went through a lot of phase juga lah, Sally. I mean, as we grow older, kan, life, send you to this path and that path. You learn along. I was very passionate about STEM, math, and stuff. But along the way, I think just having that STEM is not sufficient. There is a limit you can achieve, which I think we can make new discoveries ataupun make more impact by having all this multidisciplinary punya background. I got exposed to that when I was in Oxford juga. The discussion was not just among the STEM people. You need to include, philosophy, history, sociology, education, so arts, music, all this. So, and now at this junction, which I don't know, what's next, I would love to study philosophy more. Because I want to know. I mean, we are doctor of philosophy. Tapi do you remember there's one professor who critiques at doctors without philosophy, because not many people understand their PhD. It was supposed to be doctor of philosophy, right? So I want to go deeper there because I think that's how we can bring the next step, of all this, society is more for the society. It's not just technological advancement for the sake of advancement, but it's also making impact on community in the right way, So for those who are thinking about STEM, if you are passionate, like what Prof. Adwati said, if you are passionate, you should go for it. If you don't know what to do, then explore as many things as possible. It can be music, it can be arts, it's okay, right? And then, you can also see how that could later on contribute towards STEM. You will bring in, a fresh perspective, into this STEM world, science technological world. So I like to discuss, in Malaysia, in banyak, I could see we are very compartmentalized, even though we do encourage multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, but it just become, a word of mouth, just cliche, but it's not really happening. We need to have that kind of discussions more, working with people from other disciplines, appreciate their talents, from these other disciplines as well, to enrich our science and technology. So that's why now, it's quite difficult. Like for me, I want to go to that other side, but I'm required to stay on whatever I'm doing right now. They don't give me that much opportunity to go to explore another field, which I think will be impactful towards my field also later on. So yeah, I want to go read more about philosophy. I want to learn more about arts because I think I like that, but having that kind of, different, mode of thinking will help us, in making further discovery. So for ladies out there, or, girls who are thinking, I think my internet connection here is unstable. It's warning me. If you're thinking of STEM and you think you're not good in math or physics, it's okay. It's okay. Go pursue whatever other fields, but later on, you never know, the path will come where you can make that contribution towards this science and technology. So I'm not so worried actually. Sorry, Adwati. When people are talking about this, lacking of numbers and things. I think it's because the learning. I was actually doing a proposal in the middle of that proposal, and then I switched to here about how dry the learning is at the primary school level, because my daughter is still at primary school, the youngest is post PhD, child. So she always complains. I mean, she loves learning. This is the only, if I can share, I'm taking your time, when I had my 3 children in UK, they love to go to school. They always love to go to school because the school is so fun, But my daughter, my last daughter, Aisha, if you get to see her, she loves to go to school in Malaysia. Like even weekend, she's like, why we have weekend? I was like, oh gosh, you said your school is
Wow.
not fun. Yeah, you won't believe it. This is like good testimony for the school.
Exactly.
Because I always, I complained before. I said, when I came back from UK, I said, my children were so excited to go to school when they were in UK because the learning is so much fun. But when they come back to Malaysia, they don't like the schools here. But now I have a child who loves the school, no matter where it is. She just loves to learn. But I'm just worried that her passion, her interest in learning will get dampened over time, because the learning is so dry, whatever is just on paper. You don't go outside and discover the world. Science should be interesting, should be, you get curious about the world and you go and discover, but it's just on paper. What do you do if this happen? What do you do if this happen? Kind of so dry. So I think that bantutkan lah is sort of like, makes the children, not so interested anymore because they found arts is more interesting, music is more interesting, sukan, sports is more interesting, kan?
More action.
More action. They want
more
action. So
active
science
learning,
have
yeah.
action.
Yeah. Just to conclude, from what you guys are saying, yes, the country need STEM, more STEM graduate, more engineers, more science, and we also need the philosopher, the arts, the music on the other side of things. But what tie them together is actually your passion. So if to those young ladies out there, if you don't know your passion yet, it's okay. It's okay. You have time. Even I have time to explore my passion. I discovered this is what I enjoy to do it, after I reached 35. So keep exploring, keep learning, keep doing new thing. You will get there. So thank you so much, Prof. Aduwati, Prof. Babibi, for taking time out of your busy schedule. It's been a very interesting conversation that we have. A lot of learning, a lot of discovery. Even for myself, I'm getting excited as we speak. To those who are watching or listening to this program, I want to leave you with this. If our life is a movie, we won't be the supporting actress, isn't it? So this is our life we are talking about. So let us be the leading ladies in our own life movie. Thank you for watching. Let me know what is in your mind in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for the next episode in the conversation with the leading ladies. Thank you so much and goodbye.